Hey everybody, how's everybody doing tonight? I've got you all, I believe, muted, but please don't be offended. And if you don't know how to mute and unmute yourself, I'm just going to go quickly through some Zoom etiquette, as they say. So if you go down to the bottom, there are places where you can stop your video, start your video, press mute, but also in your actual little box on the Zoom, you should be able to mute and unmute yourself as well. The chat box is down at the bottom. Feel free to add a question in there. I may or may not get to it. You may want to raise your hand and I can help you there. But I've got lots of notes and books, resources that I'm going to be utilizing tonight. So if I'm making noise with my notes, please forgive me. I've gotten complaints on that in the past, like we heard rustling of papers, and well, that's because I'm rustling papers. So please forgive me for that. But my name is Amy Buchanan, and I'm so excited to be here tonight talking to you all about heart health. We know that February is the month of love. So I was like, well, let's talk about heart health and our cardiovascular system because everybody has a heart, hopefully. And if it's not beating, you're in trouble, right? So one thing I wanted to say is that heart disease is the number one killer of males and females now. So it's really, really something we need to be thinking about. I always start with prayer, and tonight I'm going to start with a verse. Proverbs 4:23. Above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. So, how many people know someone or actually have themselves a heart issue? I know quite a few people, and a healthy heart is so very important. It's the second, well, it's the number one leading cause of death. When I wrote this, it was second of women, but now it's the number one, men and women, number one. And it doesn't discriminate. That's over every race, everywhere. There's no discrimination. Heart disease is number one. We need to take God's word literally, right? Guard your heart, for everything flows from it. When we understand how our heart actually works, we can support it properly. How can we take better care of ourselves and our bodies and our body systems if we don't understand how they work? When we know more, we can do better. When we know better, we do better, right? So our cardiovascular system is made up of our heart, our blood vessels, arteries, veins, capillaries, and of course our blood. We're going to talk about the normal functioning of a heart, and then we're going to go into some of the difficulties that you can have with your heart. And I'm going to be talking about quite a few products that Young Living carries because some of them are incredibly good for your heart. The heart is a muscle and it moves all the blood in your body. We know that, and uses arrhythmic contractions, right? Repeated rhythmic contractions. Typically, the human heart beats 72 beats per minute. The heart is situated in the middle of the chest, slightly off to the left. And you have two sides to your heart. The right side collects deoxygenated blood from the body and pumps it to the lungs so the carbon dioxide can be dropped off and oxygen picked up. And the left side collects oxygenated blood from the lungs and pumps it out to the entire body. It's so cool how our bodies work. I want to tell you, in order to have a really great heart and to keep it in rhythm, it is vitally important to consume both macro minerals, calcium and potassium, and also trace minerals for heart health. The macro minerals allow the muscles to work rhythmically, while the trace minerals are needed for the electrical signals. So if you've ever seen an echocardiogram, you know our heart has electric signals in it. It's so cool when we talk about, I feel energy. Well, guess what? It's because we're all electric, right? I mean, it's true. So electrical signals that keep the heart working. Anytime you have arrhythmia of the heart, it's because, well, it's often because of a lack of minerals. Essential fatty acids are also needed for proper heart function. Essential fatty acids are so important for our cells, but especially for our heart. I'm going to say that mineral essence is a must for anybody who has any type of heart issue, any type of arrhythmia. Forgive me if that's making a noise. Hang on. I'm going to read to you a little bit in my desk reference, and I'll be showing you all my references that I'm using because I think it's important you know. Page 185. Imagine that. I already had it marked. Good for me. We talk about mineral essence. It is a very balanced, organic, full spectrum ionic mineral complex with more than 60 different minerals. Without minerals, vitamins cannot be properly assimilated or absorbed by the body. Our heart needs specific vitamins, but if we don't have the minerals, our body can't absorb them. Mineral essence has a natural electrolyte balance, helping to prevent disease and premature premature aging. And minerals are necessary for the proper immune and metabolic function. The essential oils actually enhance the bioavailability of the minerals. So there's essential oils in the mineral essence. I'm gonna be real with you. I take mineral essence every day. I mix it with my Ningxia. It is not my favorite flavor. Most minerals don't taste that good because they're minerals, but they are vital for our bodies. So I'm of the mindset, I'm kind of a get over it, get it down, and just move on. A lot of people go, oh, but it doesn't taste good. I don't want it to taste it. So you can put them on the bottom of your hands and your feet, but they're going to be a little sticky too. You can put them in a bath, but in my opinion, put them in your Ningxia Red every day and just get them down. And they are really, really, really good. I can tell when I haven't had my minerals for sure. So that's mineral essence. Now I'm going to use this book, Inner Transformations, which is a book we're doing a book study on. And man, if you're not a part of our book study, which is fine, I will just let you know that this has incredible information in it. Like, I can't tell you how much great information this book has. And so I'm going to read in page 102 and 103, but I did not mark this one, so it got me in a little trouble. This also talks about minerals, and to avoid heart ailments, you have to be conscious of the amount of minerals you're getting in your diet, and trace minerals are essential, just like essential amino acids. So that's another thing you need to think about. One of the things that we're sure is fiber consumption. Fiber consumption is hugely important for our heart. We don't realize it, but our Western diets are lacking in a lot of fiber because all of our food is processed. So fiber is so important for us. They did a study, and 10 grams per day of increase 10 grams per day reduces your risk of a myocardial infarction by 24%. That's huge. That's a 25%, but just 10 grams. So, I mean, think of ways you can add fiber to your diet. And I wanted to let you all know that one of the many things that can cause heart damage is actually prescription drugs. Recent studies actually show that birth control pills may be the leading cause of heart disease in women today. And how many of our young women are on birth control pills? It is such a common thing to put young women on birth control pills to help them with their cycle, to make it easier, all the things. And it's one of the main causes of heart disease today. So I just wanted you all to be aware of that. I also wanted to talk about, so I talked about mineral essence. That's a huge one. Ningxia Red. Ningxia Red has the most antioxidants of anything on the planet. Ningxia Red is our antioxidant drink, and it is incredible for your cardiovascular health. So it helps our blood circulate better. It is amazing, and it also has those essential oils in it, which makes it more bioavailable for your body. So mineral essence is a huge, huge supplement juice that I would promote to anyone who has any heart issues. Really, I promote it to anyone who has any issues or even don't have, because it's a preventative as well. Omega-Gyze. Omega-Gyze, we talked about how essential fatty acids are so important for us at the cellular level, but also for our hearts. I'm back in the big book here, and page 187, it talks about Omega-Gyze, and I wanted to just read for a minute on that. This formula blends omega-3 fatty acids, DHA and EPA, with powerful CoQ10. This fish oil complex in Omega-Gyze is derived from some of the cleanest water on the planet and is enhanced with essential oils. So again, it's more bioavailable. One of the problems with trying to eat enough salmon or eat enough of the fish that are fatty is that our waters are filled with mercury now. Our waters are filled with heavy metals. And so by the time you eat enough of the actual fish, you're absorbing more heavy metals than your body really needs. So I just wanted to kind of remind you all of that. So volumes of research confirm that omega-3 fats reduce systemic inflammation and support the cardiovascular system, our joints, eyes, and brain health. So Omega-Gyze is a big one to utilize for our health. And it is an amazing, amazing blend for us. All right, moving along. I also wanted to talk, and I don't know if you all have seen this book before. Hang on just a second. The Supplements Desk Reference. It is an amazing book, and the reason I love it is because it gives me enough information, but not too much, because I tend to be one that likes a lot of information. So that's why I'm giving you all of this tonight, and hopefully helping you who have questions about. A supplement that is amazing for your heart is called Cardiogyze. It is one of D. Gary Young's last formulation. It is supportive of the cardiovascular system. Obviously, that's why it's called Cardiogyze. And it's got so much. It supports healthy heart function and blood circulation and may support a higher quality of life. This supplement uses proper synergistic ratio, pardon me, tonight I'm having a hard time with words, of CoQ10 and selenium, and garlic, which is another thing I'm going to be talking about in just a minute, and vitamin K2, which supports healthy vascular system. It also has essential oils in it. And remember, we've done many studies that show that when you add essential oils to your supplements, they're actually more bioavailable. So I can go to the store and buy vitamin C and I can get it really cheap. But if it's a synthetic vitamin C, my body can't recognize it as truly vitamin C. And pardon me, I just pee it all out. What I want is something that my body can actually recognize and utilize. And so when we add essential oils to our vitamins, to our supplements, it allows our body to absorb them by up to 86% better. That's hugely important. The last supplement I'm going to talk about right now, anyhow, is called Olive Essentials. And Olive Essentials, it's a game changer for optimal health. I mean, it really, really is. It has, and I can tag anyone who would like me to on a short video about it. But if you take one capsule a day, it has the same polyphenol called hydroxytirosol. I can't even say it. Please forgive me. Tonight's my night of tripping over words. I'm going to try one more time. Hydroxytirosol. That's it. Hydroxytirosol. It has the same amount of hydroxytirosol as if you had consumed an entire liter of olive oil. Now, what is hydroxytirosol and what does it really do in your body? Well, studies have shown that it has a huge benefit for your cardiovascular system, reducing LDL cholesterol, what's known as bad cholesterol, right? I don't think there's any bad cholesterol or good cholesterol. God didn't make us to have something bad in our body, right? So It is considered one of the most powerful antioxidant compounds available in nature. So let me just say, Olive Essentials is amazing for heart health. And again, we add essential oils to it, rosemary and parsley, which are amazing and make it more bioavailable. So it's truly one that I would say anyone who has any type of heart condition, it would be one you'd want. Okay, so moving along, pardon me. All right, page 3. So I talked about fiber and how important it is. Let's talk about cholesterol because I just mentioned LDL, right? And we have so much inaccurate information about it. It gets a bad reputation, but it's really good. Everybody says, oh, well, my cholesterol's high and thinks it's the cause of our heart disease. And you guys, that's a farce. In reality, it's critical for your body. It helps with digesting fats. It helps manufacture hormones in men and women. It helps make cell membranes. It supports the immune system. And it helps with absorption of fat-soluble vitamins A, D, E, and K. Without cholesterol, we can't really function. So less than 5% of cholesterol in our body is actually come from our diet. When cholesterol gets too low, we see signs of depression, lung disease, and even cancer can be a result when our cholesterol gets too low. So we need to be aware that cholesterol is not the bad guy that everybody makes it out to. There are two types. We have LDL, which it's from the liver. So think L, leave, liver. That's LDL, and everybody considers that the bad one. It's not. Then we have HDL, which it's coming back home to the liver. So we have L leaving the liver and H coming back home to the liver. Neither of those is bad. The real problem is oxidized cholesterol or damaged cholesterol, which can stick to blood vessel walls and cause plaque formation. So how does this oxidation happen? Well, by the ways we know, eating processed foods, too many processed foods, environmental toxins, stress, and really yucky negative emotions. All of those cause oxidized cholesterol to happen. And then I have like, oh, okay, yeah, but what about triglycerides? Triglycerides, you know, you hear somebody say, oh, your triglycerides are too high. And we think, okay, well, I better do something about that. But we really don't even know what that means. These are another form of blood-borne fat that is an indicator of heart health. These can be high due to diet and also your liver function. So if you have some liver stuff going on, your triglycerides could be too high. You have to actually work on your liver, not your heart. Any excess calories eaten that are not used by the body are converted to triglycerides and stored in fat cells in the body. So being aware of that, we want to make sure that we're not eating empty calories, sugary soft drinks, sugary candies, things like that, which also affect our liver and then get stored in fat and raise our triglyceride levels. It makes sense when you kind of start processing it. You're like, oh, okay, that's why sugar is so bad for you. Yes. All right, that's one of the reasons. Homeocysteine levels. What are those, right? Like I was like, okay, somebody tell me my homeocysteine levels, but when somebody says that to me, I don't really know what that means. Homeocysteine is an amino acid, pardon me, a byproduct of protein metabolism. So everybody should eat protein, right? And when we metabolize it, homeocysteine happens. But when it's elevated, it causes damage to the inner lining of the blood vessels and oxidizes cholesterol. So let me get another one. Hey, Lisa. Another one of my books that I use quite frequently, and it is called Nutrition 101 Choose Life. It is an amazing book. I use it all the time when I'm looking things up and really wanting to know. So I'm supposed to read page 201. Let me get to page 201. All right. So on page 201, Homeocysteine, I talked, it's an amino acid and a normal byproduct of protein metabolism. Okay. The damage is then covered by cholesterol in your blood vessel linings to facilitate healing. So the body's actually trying to heal itself when it gets cholesterol inside the lining of those blood vessels. Okay, which in turn promotes our arteriosclerosis, or a hardening of the arteries, and blood clotting tendencies. So what do we do? How do we check for, why would we check for homeocysteine levels? It's not your routine blood work done, but it may be requested. You can request that one when you have a history of heart disease. To reduce your homeocysteine levels, okay, I'm going to read this because I'm having a hard time pronouncing some of these words. Pardon me. To reduce homeocysteine levels, the body must convert homeocysteine to cytanthione. That was pretty close. I'm going to say it that way anyhow. I know that's not how it's said. This conversion requires sufficient levels of vitamin B6, folate, and B12. Can I say that in order to make sure your homeocysteine levels are good, you want to take Super B every day? Oh yeah, Super B is so important for those homeocysteine levels. You also want to get a lot of vitamin C and E and extra antioxidants. Can anybody think of a food supplement that provides us extra vitamin C and a lot of antioxidants? I would say Ningxia Red would be a number one, and it's incredible for your cardiovascular system. So I know I'm talking about a lot of supplements, but if you are in this place where you need a lot of heart support, I would be very much considering doing some dietary changes and adding quite a few of these supplements to your daily routine. All right, let's see here. Real quick, I just want to talk to y'all real quick about an aside, because this one I didn't know about. It is oral health. Who knew that oral health is hugely linked to heart health? The heart and the mouth. You know, and it's funny because in the word it says out from the heart, out of the mouth. I can't remember the exact scripture. I'm going to have to, if somebody thinks of it for me, but it's from the heart, the mouth speaks, something of that nature. And truly, when we think about that, I'm like, oh my gosh, the heart and the mouth are truly connected. Oh, okay. So huge link to heart health. Thieves Oral Care is one of the first things we switched out. And I also do oil pulling with either Thieves Vitality or Clove for extra support. Let me just say, because people are wearing masks so much now, we are seeing an increase in gum disease. We are seeing an increase in oral issues. People aren't going to the dentist as well. We're seeing an increase in sinus issues because we're holding all of the bacteria in that should be excreted. And in normal, yep, perfect. Thank you, Lisa Huffman. Way to go, girl. So those are masks that we have to wear at times, and I totally get it, but it's causing an increase in oral care issues and oral hygiene issues, and we're seeing more cavities, more gum disease, more sinus issues, and it's all affecting then our heart. So I would promote Thieves Oral Care. It is amazing. And if you have some other questions, please let me know. The Thieves mouthwash is amazing as well. So I'm just telling you, that is one of the first things we switched out, and I can't tell you how much it's been a blessing to us. All right, so how can we support our health, our heart, with our diet? By eating iron and iron-rich foods. They're essential because they add oxygen to the blood, and this increases our cardiac performance. Awesome. What other thing adds oxygen to our blood? Well, we know Ningxia Red does because it's so full of antioxidant. Peppermint oil is another one. So that's great, but iron and iron-rich food are very good. Vitamin K, you can get it in foods we eat, And it is made in the digestive tract from our good bacteria. So what's that tell you? Gut health affects heart health. Yes, it really does. So they say our body has three brains: our brain, our gut, and our heart. And so and it's like a triangle. They all talk to each other. And if one is out of balance, oftentimes all three. So we want all the B's all the time, all the B vitamins, pardon me, all the time. So super B, super B, super B. And remember that when we add fermented vegetables, kombucha, things like that into our diet as well, we get more of those B vitamins. Those microbes create B vitamins in our gut. It's truly amazing. All right, vitamin C is vital for proper iron absorption. So you can eat all the iron you want to, but if you're not getting any vitamin C, you can't absorb it. And it strengthens arteries. It increases HDL and lowers LDL. It therefore supports healthy blood pressure. So if you have blood pressure issues, upping your vitamin C is a great thing to do. And then remember that soluble fiber helps support healthy cholesterol levels as well. Remember, our bodies work together. Colon health is vital for heart health and liver health and eye support. I mean, all of it. We all work together. It's how we are made. All right, in this nutrition book, again, I wanted to talk about a couple of other things really quick. Page 206, let me get there. And I was really kind of amazed at this one. But cayenne pepper is huge for heart health. Who flippin' knew? So, you may not love spicy food, but cayenne pepper is so important. Cayenne pepper works like a drain opener that blasts through blockages, delivering oxygenated blood into sick or dying organs faster than any other medicine or herb. So if one of the things they talked about in here is if you know somebody's having a heart attack, get some cayenne pepper in them. I was like, what? Yeah, it is. It's fire. But I just think that's so cool. It's got a substance called, I can't say it, capsicum. Capsicum? I don't know. It's one of the fastest acting aids for the heart because it feeds the heart immediately. I think that's so cool. So cayenne pepper, anything you can add it to your scrambled eggs, add a little bit to, whatever, your meat rub, add just a little bit. I'm not saying a huge amount, but adding some to a little bit to your food is a great choice for helping your heart. I thought that was so cool. I was like, how awesome that cayenne pepper did that. Ginger is another herb that is very heart healthy. A little bit of ginger every day will help prevent heart attacks, reduce cholesterol, and normalize blood pressure, and even prevent blood clots. Ginger, add it wherever you can. And then garlic. Garlic is amazing for the heart. And I will say, you might smell a little bit funky, but hey, your heart's happy. Garlic is amazing for you. And you can read all about it, but it prevents oxidation. Gosh, I'm having one of those nights where every word is like blah, 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 blah. Oxidation and of cholesterol, and that's huge too. So adding garlic to salad dressings, adding garlic to your mashed potatoes or whatever, it's so good for you. So just wanted to kind of remind you of that those are some great things. Oh, and on 208 they talk about foods that are heart health. You can be heart health aware. And so I want to read that really quickly. Well, pardon me. All right, almonds. I'm going to talk about, I'll read about 10 of them. There's a ton here. Almonds, apples, asparagus, beans, beets, black beans, beets, and blueberries, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, cabbage, carrots, cauliflower. You getting some, real food? It didn't say Twinkies or Snickers bars. I know, right? Um, Ningxia wolfberries, oats, oranges, red bell peppers, spinach, sweet potatoes, tomatoes, turnips, walnuts, and whole grains. So it's real food. What helps our heart more than anything, and really our overall health more than anything? Eating real food. I mean, so I can post that list at some point in Freedom Tribe, just about the heart healthy foods. It's truly amazing. Hey, it's called real food. So the last thing I want to talk about tonight is stress. What does stress do to our heart? It's a big word. There's a whole lot of emotions that can be under the umbrella of stress, right? Stress actually means prolonged worry, and it can be at the conscious level or the unconscious level. I'm going to get back in this book real quickly, page 225 and 226. I think I marked it. I'm saying I did. Maybe I didn't. What people don't realize is that stress is the major contributor to all kinds of additional problems in their internal body systems. Stress shuts down various body functions and organs. It constricts veins and arteries, causing high blood pressure, and is, in fact, the #1 cause of high blood pressure. Research has shown that stress also shrinks the size of the hippocampus, and that's the part of the brain that is responsible for memory and learning. So when we're under a lot of stress, we're not really functioning at the highest level we can. Under prolonged stress, the fight or flight mechanism is never switched off. It continues on emergency status with the result that blood pressure stays high, heart rate stays high, the internal organs suffer for lack of blood, and kidney and colon function are inhibited. Wow. Stress. Okay, so my emotions do have a huge impact on my body. All right, I need to think about this. So what are some ways we can reduce stress? Well, taking calcium and magnesium and B vitamins are really important. Help take magnesium because it relaxes tense muscles, right? You can do meditation and some relaxation. There's this thing called biofeedback, and it's just imagining relaxing each muscle one by one and sitting there in a state of almost like meditation. And it's wonderful. It's one of the most effective ways to lower blood pressure. Biofeedback. Too cool. You just imagine your muscles going limp one by one by one. And you start at your head and neck and you go all the way down to your toes. You imagine dilated veins and arteries pumping and your blood, your heart slowing down to normal. And that's all biofeedback is. It's not like some woo-woo thing. It's awesome. Control stress. Exercise is another way to help control stress, right? We all know that exercise is touted as one of the best things we can do for our body. I agree, 100%. It helps us control our stress as well. But what does the Bible say? Proverbs 14:30 says, "A sound heart is life to the body, but envy is rottenness to the bones." Proverbs 17:22, "A merry heart does good like medicine, but a broken spirit dries the bones." 1 Peter 5:7, "Cast all your cares on him because he cares for you." Matthew 6:27, "Which of you by worrying can add 1 cubit to his measure?" Matthew 6:34, "Do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about its own things." We can't sit in a place of worry. It doesn't help us, right? And the Bible talked about that from way long ago, and we have to realize that and make a choice. I was talking with a friend today and I said, wrap up that whatever it is that's freaking you out and stressing you out and set it at the feet of Jesus. You truly can. because he can handle everything. That's why he died, right? So it helps us when we visualize that, and then we can pray and, okay, Lord, I'm giving it to you because I can't handle it, right? It's all in his hands anyhow. The Bible also talks about forgiveness a lot, right? So just saying, forgiveness is a key to healing. It's also a choice, not always an easy, and certainly it doesn't mean that whatever happened, a lot of us have things that have happened in our life that aren't fair. Man, when my kids say, that's not fair, I want to go, yeah, well, guess what? Life's not fair, right? How many times have we heard that? But when we forgive, it does release you from holding on to that trauma and helps you move on with your life. Letting go and letting God is a real thing. So when I'm trying to let go an emotion, normally after I've been triggered, I know it's hard to imagine me triggered, but I do have 3 teenagers in my house. I do sometimes get triggered. So I'm going to kind of go through what I do. I identify the negative emotion. For me, it requires prayer and really honesty with myself. Why did that bother me so much? And I look into my resources too. This helps me identify specific emotions because oftentimes we're mad, sad, happy, angry, whatever. We don't go into like the minutia of what am I really. And so this book has a lot of incredible information in it. And this book also has incredible information in it. Feelings Buried Alive Never Die. And then I really push into it. Then I'll anoint myself. I'll actually get my oil that I know is going to help me. And maybe there's one that's I've actually found in this book. Or maybe it's one that I just feel like, well, this one would help me. Sometimes it's joy. A lot of times it's frankincense. Believe, is an oil that I use all the time. And I'll anoint myself with whatever oil is either suggested in the blue book, or if one comes to mind really strongly. Release is another one that's really good when you're trying to release a negative emotion. And I'll use my oil to bring it up and really allow myself to feel that emotion. The great thing about our oils is they work directly on our limbic system, which is the seat of our emotions, our memories, and our hormones. Okay, so when we're triggered, guess what's normally triggered? Our emotions, our memories, and our hormones. And I'll bring up that memory and I'll figure out, why am I triggered right now? Because it's not really my kid telling me, no, he doesn't want to do something. Normally it's something from way back here that comes up from that. And I can finally, oh, yeah, I'm triggered by this. And then if I need to cry, I cry. If I want to yell about it, I yell. If whatever it is, whatever that emotion is, I need to feel it to get to the other side of it. AFT, which is called the Aroma Freedom Technique, is also a great technique to use to help work through some of those emotions. It's a great process to let go of past trauma. It was actually brought about by a psychiatrist who worked with PTSD patients for years. And he said, I started using oils and I realized these oils really work on their limbic systems, and things that he had worked on for years with some of his PTSD patients, he was able to get through much quicker. His name is Dr. Benjamin Purkis. But if you have specific questions about AFT, Aroma Freedom Technique, or want to learn more, please reach out to one of us and we are happy to talk to you about that. Oftentimes then I'll pray again and I'll ask God to forgive me and the person who offended me. Because what is love? Love is not easily offended. All right, Lord, help me with that, because that's hard. Man, I want to hold on to my offense often, and that's not truly showing love. And that's really, I've got to examine myself, because oftentimes you can't affect the other person. You have to examine yourself first. And this memory can come up again, often several times, because sometimes you got a lot of emotions attached to that one little event that happened in your life, or whatever, or it could be a string of events. But if you're like me, I have to clear each of these emotions one at a time in order to move on and get beyond whatever that trauma was. And then finally, my big thing is I speak life over myself. And that means I choose the word of God. I have a list of what God says about me, and it's amazing. And I use that as an affirmation. You can use whatever affirmation you want to. You can say, I am happy and empowered, or whatever you want. I choose to use God's word because I feel like it's the truth. And the truth sets me free. You might need to do it for a while. You might need to remind yourself of who God says you are frequently. And that's okay, and that's normal. Remember, we're all called to renew our minds. And that means we have to hear something over and over and over again. But a happy heart, remember, is good medicine. So we store a lot of emotion right there. And helping our heart in physical ways is great, but we also have to help our heart emotionally and get rid of those stresses. All right, you guys, I would love to answer any questions quickly. Unmute yourself and start throwing out some questions.
Does anybody have any questions? If not, I would like to provide a testimony.
I have one question.
Sure.
Go for it.
Do you have any, I know you mentioned a little bit about high blood pressure. Do you have any other specifics on that, as far as supplements or
supplements for high blood pressure? What all did I say in here? I mean, there's quite a few. I know Super B is hugely important. Cardiogyze. What else did I say? I'm sorry. I start going and then I'm like, oh, hang on a second.
That's okay. I know you said vitamin C. I have that
vitamin
one.
C is hugely important. And then, if it were me, I would want to know what's the cause of the high blood pressure. Is it stress? Is it, is it an emotional root? Not to say you can't also work on the physical, but what are some of the reasons for the high, if it's stress, then we got to work on some other areas too. And so that's what, is it kidney issues? Is it lung issues? Those are all reasons for high blood pressure as well. So I would check out some of that, and then, I'd want to dig a little deeper into that. Cardiogyze is a great supplement as well. And then all of essentials. Okay, I'm going to shut up now. Lisa, did you have another question? I can't hear you. You're muted.
Is that not the quote of the year?
What?
Hey, you're on mute. Kathy has her hand raised. She has a question.
Oh, okay.
My husband's currently he had a heart attack on Thanksgiving.
Oh, I'm
and
sorry.
So he's currently going through the rehab and everything. We still have some complications going on. Excuse me. And once he had to get 2 units of blood, he's on the border of needing more blood. My question is, if I use everything you talked about tonight, how do you pick and choose what's the right thing? Number one, to use to help him, and his kidneys are part of that, and fiber, everything you talked about tonight is right in line with everything the doctor's been telling us that we need to work on. The other thing is, how do these oils interact with the medications the doctor's telling him to take anyway? That's my big worry, is causing some complication by using some of these different vitamins or whatever it is you're recommending.
So, I'd probably want to get some time and talk specifics with you, Kathy. But
okay.
Honestly, I would take baby steps. Ningxia Red. It's so full of antioxidants. It's something it is number one. And then I'd take the Cardiogyze bottle into my doctor's office and say, what do you think of this? Is this okay with you? And I do it the same with all of essentials. Those 3 would probably be my 3 targets, and then I'd start changing diet.
Well, diet we're already working on.
Okay,
because he's also diabetic, so we've been working on this for months. So that part I think we have under control to a degree. We're still got some changes. Men don't like everything. Women are more willing to try things. So he's been a meat and potato guy his whole life. So asking him to eat asparagus or a sweet potato or, anything of that nature, he's about to gag and throw up. Like he just told me tonight, I've been buying cauliflower like crazy because I can eat raw cauliflower, but I can't eat that other stuff. It's about to make me throw up. And, here I've been pushing cauliflower,
Right.
So, yeah, my big fear is, is messing with his of course, right now, everything's so messed up. So I've got to be real careful with that.
Well, and the goal, of course, is to partner, and that he won't require as many medications at some point.
Right. And I'm part of your
goal. And so
I'm part of your book club, and I've learned a lot from that and have shared that with him because it does all go hand in hand.
It so goes hand in hand. I mean, literally, we think, and part of that's our culture. If I have a foot problem, I go to the podiatrist. If I have a heart problem, I go to the cardiologist. If I have a brain problem, I go to the neurologist. What we don't realize is that all systems work together. I mean, and literally, if I say it once, I say it 10 times a day. It's all about the gut. I mean, it's all about the gut. And people are probably sick of me. There's a picture, there's a meme out there of a guy all by himself sitting on a swing. And it cracks me up because he's like me at a party when all I want to talk about is gut health, and, and that's kind of how I feel. Cause I'm like, yeah, well, it's all about your gut, and people are like, oh, please, Amy, shut up. But truly it is. Any other questions? Go ahead. I'm sorry, Kathy.
No, I was just gonna say, my mother-in-law had congestive heart failure. So I was with her a lot. I was one of her caregivers, and we had a cardiologist explain how more your kidney, he didn't quite go into the gut, but how your kidney works with your heart. Absolutely. And it was like, wow.
Oh yeah. I mean, it fully does. Oh, did I stop or did you all stop? Oh no. I'm hopeful. Sorry about that.
She's there.
I'm sorry about that. I could feel that my internet was like woozy.
Yep, totally.
So,
okay.
So yeah, so we all work together, and when we understand that, it helps us realize that we have to support everything. Other questions?
Any other questions?
Nope.
Okey
All right,
dokey.
guys, thank you so much for hopping on tonight.
Testimony.
Yes. Oh, testimony. Pardon me. I'm so
okay.
sorry.
It's not necessarily a testimony. It's more of a commiserate. I suffer from high blood pressure. It sneaks up on me and causes a problem all the time. I take my blood pressure quite often per doctor's orders to monitor it. Now, I am treating it naturally as best as possible. I am not taking any over the prescriptions, and I won't. I'm fighting it tooth and nail. But here's the thing that I've learned along my journey, because I've been on this journey for years. Some of you already know this story. You can tell someone, here's a list of everything you should do. And you can do those things, but it's the stress and letting go of the past and the present that's frustrating you. We have a tendency, at least I do, of wanting to control when things aren't going our way. This causes huge stress. We have to learn to be flexible, to let go, to be happier. It's definitely a skill that requires practice. I am a profound control freak, and learning how to let go has had more of effect on my blood pressure than all the other things. They all add up, don't get me wrong. Changing your diet, exercising more, taking good supplements, they most definitely have an effect. But the biggest bang for my buck has been treating myself emotionally. If you can get your find something that really works for you. There are way too many things out there that apply. Oils, meditating, yoga, putting your headphones on and listening to Christian music, closing your eyes for 15 minutes every day. do whatever it takes that you like and actually you'll do all the time. Because like Kathy mentioned, changing someone who has done the same thing all their life is hard. I'm speaking from total, I'm right there with him.
Oh, girl.
If you told me that I had to meditate or exercise, I'd tell you to go pound sand. I ain't got time for that. But you have to make time for that. And there's too many different ways to do it. You just got to keep looking for a different way until you find something that you go, man, I kind of liked that.
Well, and that's why oils work so well too, because they actually do access our limbic system. And so when we apply oils, they do, everybody says aromatherapy. Oh, I felt so relaxed. Well, in all honesty, aromatherapy really does help you relax more, especially if you're using oils that you enjoy. But they scientifically do that as well. And that helps alleviate stress. One of the other things I love about oils is they can help bring some of those emotions up to the surface so that we can release them and let them go. It's almost like an emotional detox at times. And that's a good thing. Doesn't always feel good when you're going through it. But when you realize you can change, I can do this differently. I don't have to respond the way I always have before. But that takes you being aware. And that's really what it's all about. I'm aware now of this reaction that I've been giving. Let me change it because I don't want to react this way anymore. And it's really kind of nice. I remember I was fasting and my son, about 3 days after I got off my fast, my oldest said, Mom, are you going to be fasting again anytime soon? And I was like, why? And he's like, because you're a little snappy when you fast. And I realized, wow, because when you're not eating, I'm like, well, I wasn't eating, but what that says to me is, man, I need to work on me. It had nothing, I was reacting to things I normally wouldn't have. So I'm just trying to make a point of, you have to be willing to work on yourself in order to have true health. So, all right, you guys, are there any other questions? Nope. All right.
Thank you, Amy.
Thank you all so much for being here tonight. I really appreciate it. This was recorded, so hopefully.
I'm so glad because I was late, so I'm going to backtrack and listen to it.
Oh, good. Well, I will get it posted probably tomorrow in Freedom Tribe as soon as I can.
Okay.
Good to see you.
I'll make sure you see it.
All right, guys. Y'all
everybody.
take care. Have a great night, and I will talk to you soon.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Keep your hearts happy and healthy.
Kathy, check in with us.